you can see and hear me, that will be awesome. We'll wait for that. I do see that it's populating, so it looks like we're good. Good to go.
Welcome. I
Ooh,
think that I'm live
shnikes.
right now.
Hold on, that's so
I'm gonna
annoying. I have to have my live open so that I can empty the chest. I'm going to remember tonight. I have my friend Anita Rose with me tonight just for fun.
Hello.
We are, I don't know, this makes it so much more fun to have my friend here, like sitting here talking with me. And when I'm feeling low and I'm feeling uninspired, then friends help us through, don't they, Anita?
I'm here to help.
You are here. Yeah. I'm not going to go over the whole story about how we met and how we became friends and everything, because it's just so crazy, but I don't think everybody's ready for that. But I will say that it involves reptilians, black magic, a vampire, and I have not exaggerated one bit, have I? And like a million other things, right?
Spiritual attacks, among other things.
Right. So when I talk about over the course of the last couple of years, meeting people and having these instant kind of connections and going through crazy things automatically with people, like right off the bat, and just forming those soul connections right away. Anita is one of those people for me. It was just like, instantly we connected, instantly we're just like, oh, yes, like on the same page about so many things. And you've been a hero to me. You've absolutely just like came out of nowhere. Like I can't even believe it. It's when that happens to you. Yeah, it's so hard to explain. It's so hard to explain to somebody that hasn't been there and dealt with that. But it's like these people that you feel like they've been missing from your life forever. And then all of a sudden they come in. It's really cool. And, you know, Anita has a lot of different gifts herself, and is, that's part of the reason that she was such a savior to me and was so helpful to me. And she's just very in tune, which, you know, I'm not. So she's helping me through that. So Anita is kind of embarking. She's, interestingly enough, so Anita is kind of right where I was, even though you've been awake longer than I have. You are kind of just now getting into the phase of being activated of like, okay, now what do I do? What can I do? What can I contribute? What can I help? How can I help other people? So right now you're kind of in this phase, the stage of getting ready to figure out exactly what that is. And I believe you found it. Like you are, tell us a little bit about, well, if you want to go into a little bit of your awakening experience and then also get into like what you're doing.
I was really fortunate to have an awake mother. So I feel like I was the veil was always very thin for me. And like I was telling you, my grandmother also, I'm looking back now and remembering things, and I was like, wow, she was so awake for this little old lady. Like she was so ahead of her time. But anyway, so I was always strange. I was always into conspiracy theories and aliens and Bigfoot. I remember when I was 8 years old, we moved and I had the chance to redo my room. And, you know, 8-year-old girls want pretty pink things. And I painted through them dark purple with planetary wallpaper and glow in the dark stars at 8 years old. And I look back and I was like, oh my God, how crazy was that?
Yeah, you knew.
Yeah, I just always, I was always kind of a starseed. I could definitely say that. But my mom started practicing Reiki when I was 19. And that kind of really opened me up to the world of like metaphysical healing. I remember walking into her office one night and she was listening to alien channelings when I was like 20 years old. And it's weird because I forgot about a lot of these things up until recently. And when I was thinking about my awakening experience and what I would say tonight, all of these memories started popping up. And I was like, oh my God, like all of these things were so synchronistic, and it kind of built up on itself to open more and more doors, to let me learn more things. I would say the most difficult part of my awakening was learning about, you know, all the pizza stuff and satanic stuff. And everything revolving around adrenochrome. And much like you, that was a really dark period of my life. It was really difficult for me having children because I'm a registered nurse. That is what my profession is. But I've been a stay-at-home mom for 7 years. And literally the past 7 years, all I've been doing is researching. I've been down an endless rabbit hole the last 7 years. So while I was home raising these little children, my oldest is 7, I was learning about all of this pedophilia, and it was just extremely difficult, extremely hard. You know, but I'm at a really good place right now. I feel like I finally found what I want to do, kind of, and I'm not done yet. I'm not there. I feel like I'm just starting down the right path. Finally, I just got certified in BQH, which is Beyond Quantum Healing. And if anybody doesn't know what that is, it's very similar to QHHT, but as the name implies, it's like the next level. So where QHHT sometimes has perceived limitations, they're very strict on rules and following the script. BQH kind of allows your own like creativity. So I also practice Reiki, and in my sessions, I'm allowed to provide the client with Reiki if that's what they're in need of. So I think that's really cool. And because of this, I've started taking all these different classes, learning all these new things. I'm enrolled in like 10 different courses right now. Everything from conscious parenting to nutrition to a really in-depth course about chakra healing, which is also other things that I could use in my BQH sessions. So that's where I'm at.
Yeah, I think you're in this phase. I think a lot of us go through it. A lot of us have this experience where you become like this sponge, and it's like you can't learn enough. You're just like, you just can't get your hands off on enough information. And every time I talk to you, you are researching something new, like just diving in head first to other things. And I connect with that so much because, and it's not like it's all the time for me, at least. I do have times that I go through that I'm not doing that. I feel like it would be too intense if we were always from now on just doing that. You need time to like absorb it and whatever. But yeah, every once in a while you just get into these like fits of just needing all the information. Yeah. And I feel like that's going to, when maybe when that is happening, I remember learning about the growth, like in children's growth, that they'll go through a physical growth spurt, and then they'll go through a mental growth spurt. And when they're going through a physical growth spurt, they eat a lot. And when they go through a mental growth spurt, they don't eat as much.
Right.
And it's almost like we're going through growth spurts as well. Like we're going through growth spurts where we have to like take all the information in, and then we go through the spurts of where we're learning how to apply it, and we're learning to kind of get rid of what we don't align with and keep what we do. So, you know, and we're all kind of working off of each other now. You know, with it's basically, it's good to have friends. It's good to have people that you can bounce these ideas off of, that don't think that you're crazy. Did you have I mean, like, have you always had people other than your mother? Did you always have people that you could talk to about this stuff?
No. It's funny you ask me that, because right before I met you and we started talking, I was in such a funk. I've kind of, you know, honestly not been living a very authentic life up until very recently. I've kind of been like in the spiritual closet per se. You know, I always had one foot like in 3D, living a very normal life, not letting my freak flag fly. But since I've met you and I've become like really good friends with a lot of people in this community just in the last couple months, I feel like I'm living a so much more authentic life. I feel like I'm really embodying myself now. So only very recently have I been able to, you know, talk to people who are just like me on a daily basis.
Yeah, it makes a difference too. It makes a difference when you're not around those people, to have you kind of be able to hold your head up high around that. I mean, it's so hard when It's hard to live an authentic life when nobody else around you gets it. Like I go and I hang out with, some of my friends and they would just want to drink and do all these other things. And you don't want to be, that person. It makes
No.
people very uncomfortable when you don't drink and they do. And you're just like, I don't know, you just feel that pressure all over again to step back into the matrix and just like conform.
Yeah.
But even just having people that you can talk to outside of it, so where you can like go and live the life in the matrix with all the other people, and knowing that there are people out there that don't think that you're crazy and that they have your back and that they know all these things about you and they still love you. It just does give you, more of a, I guess, more of a backbone, more of a spine. Like it's really not easy because it's set up that way. There aren't enough people awake yet.
Exactly. I think you've arrived when you can be your full self in all situations.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm only very recently trying that out. And it's hard. It's a coming out process.
Yeah.
Right? You know?
It is. And
is
it's not even just about learning all of this stuff. I think you and I both know that when they talk about this being a spiritual war, that is very real. And I think that one of the things that people, sometimes I feel very straddled between two worlds because I'm very into the like Q patriot stuff, but I'm also really into the spiritual stuff because of my own experiences. And I am finding now that people that were never into that spiritual stuff, that never like even considered it, are starting to have these experiences too. They're not talking about it, but they're mentioning it to me. And there are a lot of very strange experiences that you have when you start to wake up. You'll start to see things. You have like inner knowings about stuff. You'll start to feel yourself getting more telepathic or more psychic. You'll be able to be more intuitive. Like, oh my God, I knew that was going to happen. And most people keep that to themselves, don't we? Because we don't want people to think we're crazy.
Absolutely.
But doesn't it seem like those two things go hand in hand, like waking up and like starting to have these experiences?
It does. It's so important. Once you like really open yourself up to the universe, I feel like the universe opens itself up back to you. And it kind of rewards you with all of these amazing synchronistic events, things that you could either call luck or, it puts people like you in your life at the exact time that you need them. Like I was really alone and depressed and confused, and I was in this rut. And since, I met you and we've had our experiences together, it's really propelled me. It's really propelled my life forward. It feels like years have gone by just in the last couple months, right?
God, is that the truth? Guys named Todd says, I wanted to address this. He says, I can play drums now. And I don't know if this is what he means, but it does bring something up that I wanted to say, was that also another thing that people are commonly kind of having the same experience of along with their awakening, they're starting to unlock skills and abilities that they've never had before. And it's not necessarily just the telepathic, psychic thing that I was saying before. Like maybe guys named Todd now knows how to drum. Like I've talked to several people even in the last week. They're like, oh my God, like I can all of a sudden do this. And I think that's really interesting. We're just like breaking through all these boundaries and we're unlocking new levels. And maybe like that drumming is going to fit in somewhere with like being very helpful. At first, when I first was in the phase where you're in right now, where I was like, okay, I'm awake. I want to help. What can I do? Because I'm a hypnotherapist, or I was a hypnotherapist in the past. It's been a long time since I practiced. At first I was like, well, that's what I'll do. That's what I'm good at. That's what I know. And maybe I can help people through their awakening experience because we know it's not easy. And then I was like, okay, but it doesn't seem like the right time for it yet. That was 2018. And I was like, first we need to get people awake, and then we can help them through it, because there weren't that many people that were awake, at least not as far as I saw. So that was what caused me to start a YouTube channel. But it was so crazy to like, you and I have also talked about this. You feel like you're being pushed from behind, right? You're just going through it. It's just like, bye guys, this is just me now. And you just are like, everything is coming kind of, I won't say easy, but it's like you said, the synchronicities and everything just seems to line up. And it's like the steps just appear in front of you as you take them.
It's so true. And, obstacles kind of get like pushed to the wayside and you get propelled forward. And the things that you need from other people or for the universe in order to make this work just are put in your life.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, exactly.
It's amazing.
Yeah, the synchronicity thing is really real. I've got that waking up a few people just on its own. Just the synchronicity stuff is waking up a few people around me in my life that I thought would never wake up. But then there's also, it's not all just the good stuff, right? There's not all like the angel numbers and whatever. I'm like, oh, this just feels so right. There's also like the torment that comes along with it. And that kind of takes us back. What'd you say?
The attacks.
And the attacks are very real. And I always hesitate to go too deep. Like I've touched on this stuff a little bit on my channel, but like I said, I'm kind of in the middle here where I've got kind of a blend of the community. I've got a lot of just like straightforward Q people, Patriot, MAGA, whatever you want to call them, that watch. And, a lot of people also that are very hardcore, like Bible. And they're, I'll get a lot of, anytime I bring this up, I get a lot of like, well, that's demons, or all aliens are demons, or, even if you have a benevolent experience. But it does seem like a couple things are happening here. I think we are learning that the spiritual war, and even the stuff that we're finding out, the things that these people do to our children, we know by that pure evil exists, right? And what are they getting off of this children? There is something to negative energy, whatever you want to call it, demonic energy, whatever it is whatever label you feel comfortable with. It tends to look like it's kind of eating off of fear or negative feelings and things like that. And so if we are winning this war over here and taking care of that and waking more people up and, feeding into that system more, they're going to be looking for sustenance somewhere. And so that could be a reason why the attacks are springing up. I also just feel like the veil, like you said, the veil is, for you, has always been really thin, but it's getting really thin for just about everyone now, I think.
Yeah. The veil has been thin for me, but up until very recently, I've not experienced anything. I've not seen anything paranormal. I've never really gotten attacked in any way up until very, very recently. And I think that once I fully stepped into this life, I like fully committed to it. I opened myself up. For a while I was afraid to meditate. I was really off my spiritual path completely. So once I fully committed to this, you open yourself up to the good things, but you also open yourself up to the bad things. But they're not always bad. Sometimes it just shows you that you're on the right path. And it shows you that, the veil is thinning even further and further. And these things could have always been there. Like I literally could have had these things in my house floating above me the whole time. And it's just that only now am I able to see it, because I'm really delving into fully awakening, my spiritual aspect.
Yeah, right. And I was saying to somebody the other day, okay, I've seen some really weird stuff. I've seen some very scary stuff in my room, in like places. I see weird stuff, and it's like a glimpse, or it's out of the corner of my eye, and then you just have this inner knowing. But I was saying to somebody the other day, think about the cutest thing that you can think of. And it's like all of a sudden you see that in your room, like a bunny, like all of a sudden a bunny manifests in your room. You freak out, right? Like that's scary, no matter what it is. I don't care if it's your friend, you turn around and your friend is standing there. That's scary. So the fact that I was like seeing these things and just being like, that's weird. And like, keep walking was like, what is happening with me? But, I really did get to a place recently where it doesn't scare me anymore. And since it stopped scaring me, I don't see anything that's like, I mean, every once in a while I'll see something weird, but it doesn't affect me. And I feel like they don't bother with me anymore because they're like, oh, well, it doesn't work on her.
Well, and that's the whole thing. You have to, I almost feel like these things are not always attacking you. I feel like sometimes they're put in your life so that you level up. You learn the lesson and then you kind of level up. And the lesson is to not be afraid of them because they can't really hurt you.
Mhm.
And the best thing to do is kind of make light of it, kind of, send it love and send it on its merry way.
Mhm.
And not going into a place of fear is the absolute best thing you could do.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, at the end of the day, I guess we don't know, right? We have our intuition, we have what feels right. And obviously there are a bunch of people that, I love and respect. We all have kind of different points of view about what exactly things are, but I think we can all agree that living in fear doesn't benefit anybody, no matter what your spiritual practices or whatever. Living in fear is not good. If you believe in the, part of what you brought up star seeds before, part of what their main duty supposedly is to come and raise the vibration of the planet by, by their vibration. And so fear is about the lowest vibration that you can have. So it's like it's like, it doesn't, if it's not real, it doesn't hurt. You just, if you raise your vibration, if you work on getting rid of the fear, you're never going to regret that. You're never going to be like, shoot, I was wrong. It was all about fear the whole time. Like, that's never going to happen. Getting rid of the fear is, I think, one of the most important things that we can do. And then if it really is that we're supposed to be here raising the vibration, then I think that is very powerful. And we're able to do it.
Yeah. And I think getting rid of the fear helps you in all aspects of your life, not just spiritually, because fear is how they control us. Fear is how the elite control us, really. So if you get rid of that fear, their control weakens.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I think that's what it is. That's what feels right to me. And again, I say this all the time, but I think that another important thing is that we just don't know. We just don't know. So we just have to do the best with whatever it is that it appears to us. And I think I see a lot of people kind of use love and light as a weapon. Like, yeah, like people just, it's like another form of looking down your nose at someone when you think that you've got the answer and you're like, no, this is what it is. Even to those people that have had really clear experiences and for yourself what that experience is. No one can tell you what, that experience was or wasn't because you were the one that had it. But to like turn to somebody else and be like, no, this, based on my experience, this is what everything means.
Right.
I think it's something that this community needs to kind of get away from, no matter what it is. Because a lot of people are doing it from the goodness of their heart, right? They feel like they found the keys to the universe, like all the answers, and they're like doing it for the right reasons. But I think it's very possible that maybe no one is right, that we all have pieces.
I can tell you that, like you said, I've been awake for a very long time. The more I learn, the less I know. Because you truly understand that there is so much out there left to learn that you will never know 100%. You know what? Like no one on this planet knows everything. And anyone who's claiming to know the one spiritual path that you should be on, things that you definitely should and shouldn't do, they're full of crap because
yeah, it's true.
Yeah, there's no one who knows all the answers.
Right. And I mean, even if you feel like you found it and you're like, no, like nobody is going to deter me from this. I know this is what it is. And some people really do have that feeling inside of them. No matter what, I don't think you're never going to shame somebody into getting the key to life, right? You're never going to be an asshole and have somebody wake up because of that, because, It just seems
Oh,
like if
man.
you really think you know the answer, uh, don't try to force it on other people.
No, and that's the ego. And there's so many people in this community who purely come from a place of ego. And I
Mhm.
see these people who are, healers and love and light. And um, then I'll see them commenting back on a comment that someone makes on a post, and they're like verbally attacking them. And I'm like, you got work to do. You have work to do on yourself. You should
It
not be doing that.
it does. It's funny that like the love and light community does seem to attract the most like narcissists. And maybe it is like that. Of course, they're going to gravitate towards whatever they think puts them in a position above other people. And what puts you above other people more than like having the key to life? And so yeah, it makes no sense. Or it makes a lot of sense. But I
Mm-hmm.
wanted to read this. Tessa said, my husband calls it the well actually group when we get around that environment with well actually. I love that. That's perfect.
Hi,
Hi
Tessa.
guys. Hey Kenny. Frankincense and myrrh, eat it. It's pretty good. I would not try that. I do not recommend. Blows me away. Ones of light attacking. I'm like, have you ever heard yourself? Exactly. Um, I've had so many people be downright rude and nasty to me in the name of Jesus Christ. I'm like,
Oh man.
I don't think I don't think that's even a couple weeks ago, I had somebody because I have a tattoo,
Mm-hmm.
and somebody came in here into my chat and they were like, the Bible says that you'll go to hell if you've got a tattoo. And I'm like, what? Like, imagine if that's how I found out. Like, that's how I found out that I was going to hell. And I was so bummed about it. Like, it's just, how do people feel okay saying these things to one another?
It is
Kate, how do you
not
put up
fun.
with people who don't want to wake up and think you live on Mars? I can't do it, Dave asks. I mean, I've got my I've gotten to the point where I don't want to force anybody. And so I've really kind of cocooned myself and have been lucky enough to find people. What do you find, Anita? Like, how do you deal with that?
Yeah, the same thing. I've really been on a social media break, to be
Mm.
completely honest. I'm delving into personal growth and self-mastery and all that stuff right now. Um, and I find that it's so much better for my mental health. I have my close friends, a small handful of others, but that's really it. I've kind of like sheltered myself.
And it's such a good point because social media is no people don't say this shit to your face, right?
Mhm.
That's people get really really bad on social media. I find it's very rare that somebody will say the same kinds of things. Like, I can't believe what people have had the gall to say to me on social
Mhm.
media, and those people wouldn't say that to your face.
Never.
So social media is probably the first step to kind of backing away, and it's not to say that you need to retreat or
Right.
that you can never go back to it or that you have to throw away all the people that are connected to social media. Just take a big step back, a big break,
Hmm.
and know that you're not going to. It's first of all, I don't think it's our job. Our job was mostly to just keep putting it out there
Hmm.
and plant seeds. And you can't force anything to grow, but just continue to plant seeds.
Hmm.
And you might not see those seeds come to fruition, but you might plant a seed that a year or two later is going to sprout something.
Hmm.
So don't get discouraged by feeling like nothing that you're doing is working or that nobody's listening to you or nobody's really hearing what you have to say, because you never know. There are really crazy stories that I've had I've told people things and been like, okay, that was like talking to a brick wall. And then they're the ones that come back to me first and are like, well, wait a
Hmm.
second, you tell me more about this. So you really never know.
Definitely. I'm kind of like an all or nothing person. I can't limit my social media time. Either I'm like on it all day long or I'm cleansing. And right now I'm just cleansing from it. But
Yeah.
I agree. Like, I've had people, I was pretty vocal, mostly on Facebook. I know, cringe. But I was pretty vocal on Facebook the last couple of years. And I've had people who would never even like a post, private message me about things, and like years later, and like they're finally waking up now, you know. So that's pretty nice. So I
Yeah.
was definitely planting those seeds for a very long time, and it's nice to get like the slightest bit of recognition for it, you know.
Right, definitely. Well, I mean, like, I'm grateful to you that you were on Facebook doing that. I could not do Facebook. Like, I could barely handle the like quick quick retorts on
Mhm.
Twitter. Like back if I seriously saw something like a bubble pop up and somebody writing for like 10 minutes, I'm like, oh, I'm out of here. Like when people can respond in full ass paragraphs to me, I no, I can't. It's too emotional. Like it's just
Mhm.
too much. Facebook is too much to me. But some people really do best on Facebook
Mhm.
because they're really they're really good at writing. You know,
Mhm.
I can write short things and be kind of concise, and that's why Twitter worked for me. And I really more just liked sharing the information with like a quip, you know, just like
Right.
some whatever. That's what worked for me. But for people that can actually like get into it with people and
Mhm.
level with them, and you know, and come back and keep giving them information and have this back and forth, like God bless you guys, because I certainly can't do it. But there are all kinds of, oh well, welcome Tyler, better late than never. um yeah, so there, you know, and also Instagram, like Instagram
Mhm.
was not my thing once I woke up, because I didn't know how to, sorry, I got blurry there for a second. I didn't know how to use it
Mhm.
for this, because I'm like, you can't use links.
Right.
I'm not like big on images and stuff like that. I just wanted to make like quick comments, but there were some people that were using Instagram as such an awesome tool to wake people up.
Mhm.
And now we've got Telegram. It's like a messaging app, and
I
somehow we're
love
using that.
it.
Me too.
I know.
It's so good. It's
I
so good.
know, but I even had to delete some chats because I was getting obsessed.
Yeah.
Totally obsessed. And, you know, I have 4 kids, I have 4 small children. So I really need to give them my attention and not only give my phone all of my time. So,
I'm glad you've got 4 kids, because I'm like no, because like I'm glad people like you are bringing kids up in this world, because think about all the things that your kids are going to know,
mhm.
and the important role that they're going to have to wake up other people. And there are 4 of them. They're going to have each other. They're going to have each other's back. That's massive. That's so cool. You know, you
Yeah.
were really lucky to have the mother that you had. I was really lucky to have the mother that I have, and the dad also, you know,
Mhm.
they were both pretty awake. And there's no doubt that that's why you're doing what you're doing and I'm doing what I'm doing now. And now our kids are going to go on and do that. And it's going to be a completely different world by the time they do that.
I know. It's exciting and scary. Like my son Harrison, he's the oldest one. He was having some experiences already. And Ivan, it came up in my session with Ivan that he's been visited by leprechauns and trolls and all
My
kinds
people.
of, I know.
Maybe it was
Who
me.
else? Maybe. So, but he's also being visited by some dark stuff.
Mm.
So, and I, right around that time is when I started seeing things. So I think I needed to open myself up to it more in order to face it myself to help him,
Mm-hmm.
you know.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, these kids, that's the hardest thing. You don't want them to, you know, have the
Hmm.
dark experiences as well too. But I think we both kind of know whatever our kids are here for, they signed up for it, just like we signed up for whatever we're here for. And I think I'm hopeful that it's going to be an exciting life for them, that they're going to
Hmm.
have, you know, hopefully this whole awakening experience will be, you know, they're going to have a continuation of that, but they're going to have a lot more of the good stuff, I think. Hopefully. I really do think that the
For
bad
sure.
stuff will be out of our system, hopefully sooner than later.
I definitely believe that. Yeah, I mean, think about their future. It's going to be a wild time. I hope, you know, we have full disclosure and all that stuff. It's really exciting to look forward to.
Mhm.
Amazing.
Yeah, but you're seeing these kids that are born with all kinds of abilities and personalities that it's almost like you can see exactly where they're gonna fit into the puzzle in
Mhm.
order to help. I mean, I've heard it explained before that you're like, if you're on planet Earth at this time, if you're incarnated right here, right now, you like won the lottery.
Definitely.
So it's good. But yeah, I mean, at the same time, I'm not kidding myself in the fact that I know that no matter what, hell, Freudian, Earth is always going to be um very tumultuous. This is where people come to have like rapid karma experiences, you know, to either burn off a ton of karma or to get through things kind of rapidly. This is like the Harvard Law School, if you will, of like, whatever. It just it seems like this is the place that you can, because it's like, yeah, you can burn off karma, I guess, in other dimensions or what's it called? Not dimensions, densities or at other levels, but not like you can on Earth. And even on other realms and other planets and stuff. Supposedly this planet is like the best of the worst.
Yeah, we definitely have it the hardest, but I think we do make the most growth here, you know.
Patricia says, my 8-year-old nephew is awake and having prophetic dreams and visions. Some are pretty scary for him. What do you when your son has kind of some of the negative experiences, what do you say to him?
Well, I always tell him that nothing can hurt him. And recently I've been teaching him to surround himself with light, and I'm teaching him to call in his angels for protection. You know, I'm starting every night to put them in a protective, you could call it, you know, a protective circle, you know, it really doesn't matter what you call it. But you know, so I'm starting to teach them some stuff and to send out love. You know, and I feel like they're definitely getting it. I was hesitant to teach them any of that, but I was like, you know what, it's time.
Yeah, I think that it's kind of empowering, and especially if he'll pick up on your lack of fear over it. If you were afraid of it, you were like, oh my gosh, if you were like calling in a priest and stuff, he would pick up on that and it would terrify him probably. But I think, yeah, giving your kids are always going to pick up on however you react. That was a big thing of parenting for me, is that, you know, anytime my kid ever fell down, it was always like, oh, boom, you know, even if his limb was like broken in half, you're like, oh, boom. And he's like, kids, yeah, like he would take a gnarly tumble.
Yeah.
And you'd like kind of look at me. And if I was just like smiling, he kind of gets himself up and he dusts himself off and he keeps going. Whereas like, I feel like if I would have freaked out, then they freak out. So, yeah, it does seem like your kids are going to pick up on your energy. And also just to say to your kids, this is another benefit I think I had of having the parents I did, is that they both had their own ideas of religion. My dad was Catholic, my mom was Buddhist, but neither of them forced it on us. They kind of were just like, eh. And so I feel like, you know, you telling your son, you know, these are the things that I try, you know, I put up a bubble, you know, this could work, that could work, leaving him open to even experiment it with by himself. Like maybe he'll figure out something that, you know, we couldn't have even thought of.
Exactly.
It's so cool like that.
It's amazing.
Yeah. So do you want to encourage the ability of your kids or shield them from it? Yeah, that's an interesting question. You know, I'm such a chicken, and like, I don't want to push those things on my kid. Like my kid does have certain things too. Like my kid the other night, I actually went and laid down with him when he was sleeping. I fell asleep in the bed with him. And I woke up, I was having a dream, and there was a conversation going on in my dream where someone was kind of yelling at me. Well, do you have the information? And as I woke up, my son is saying out loud, I don't have the information. And stuff like that happens all the time. I had a dream one time that there was an orange orb coming in through my window. And this is when we used to co-sleep. So he was like 2 or 3. He was probably about 3. And the next morning he was like, Mommy, remember the comet that came in through the window, but it didn't break the window? And we've had a few things like that where we've had the same dream. So there's something there. But I'm not like encouraging him to like, I don't know. I just want your kids to have the most normal childhood as possible, right?
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, I think I'm trying to open them up to the realm of different possibilities. You know, I don't want them to just be 3D kids. So, you know, I have to talk about weird, strange things with them just to kind of like open them up to that. But no, I'm not sitting my kids down and like having them meditate and all of that stuff.
Yeah.
I like the idea of the protection thing because, like you said, I feel like it empowers them.
Totally, totally. Even if it's just, they're picturing in their mind like a nightlight around them that's like
Mm-hmm.
God's love or whatever. And it's like giving a child, people would give children like a blanket and they would tell them,
Mm-hmm.
okay, when you're feeling shy, this makes you invisible,
Right.
or, whatever it was. And those things work with kids. Kids are
Mm-hmm.
stupid. No, but anything where you could give, where you put the power in the child's hand and take
Mm-hmm.
the fear away, it seems like
Right.
it can't hurt. It's
Yeah.
nothing but good.
And I feel like angels are a little bit more mainstream. So even if that's something he goes and like talks with his friends, you know, it's not like I'm having him call in his like spirit, you know, guides or whatever. I feel like angels, you know, everybody likes angels. So
Yes.
cannot go, and I have Archangel Michael behind me.
Yes. Oh my gosh, I love that painting.
Mm-hmm.
That's so awesome.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's true. It's sad that we have to think like that. Like,
Mm-hmm.
we don't want our children going to school and like being the freaks, but at the same time, they'll start picking up on things here and there, and you cannot like control what your kids say, of course, in front of other people. They are just going to say probably all of the stuff, but it's good. I know that when I was such a weird kid. When I was a kid, every single person I grew up with, honestly, like at least 90% of the kids I went to school with were all Jewish. And
Mm-hmm.
I was the only one that wasn't Jewish. And just because I wasn't Jewish, I didn't have to be weird, but I was. So I had, these kids would come over to my house and I'd be like, oh, I'm going to hypnotize you. And, we'd be talking about, I would be like telling ghost stories and like alien stories and stuff like that. And these were things that these people had never heard before.
Mm-hmm.
And then, so I was like probably freaking them out. And then fast forward to high school, I got freaked out by my friend who was Mormon, who
Mm.
started telling me about what they believe the end of the world is. And it was the first time in my life I called my mommy to go home. I called my
Wow.
mommy to pick me up. I was like, I can't be here. I was terrified. So
Yeah,
they
that's
will
crazy.
expose each other to all kinds of things.
Mm-hmm.
The 4D, I wish I understood this stuff or saw, heard, or anything. I know there's something out there. I just don't know what. Also, since leaving the army, I found finding out I had PTSD. I don't dream anymore. That's really interesting. Not dreaming is, well, you're not necessarily not dreaming, you're not remembering your dream. It's not necessarily a bad thing. Your dream is a venting stage. And so sometimes you not remembering your dreams is a good thing because that means you're just getting everything out. And I always like to relate it to taking out your garbage and then like remembering your dream and going over it and analyzing it can sometimes be like going out to your curb and pulling your garbage back in your house. And that's why you'll have reoccurring dreams that, usually the disturbing stuff, because we're not going over the good dreams or the ones that were kind of cool. We're going over like, what is wrong with me? Why did I have that dream? Those are the things we keep putting back in our minds. But yeah, man. Dude, I've got a lot of friends in the military, especially a few friends that were in Desert Storm that have the craziest stories. Like my friend was in Desert Storm and he said that one night for like, I can't remember how long it was, but it was a long time. It was not like a couple seconds or minutes. It was like an hour or two. The sky lit up as if it was noon and it was like 2 a.m. The sky lit up. There was no source of the light. It just lit up like as if it was daylight for like an hour and a half. And they have no idea why. But what I had heard separately, which I connected to that, which I thought was kind of interesting, was that supposedly one of the reasons that area of the world is so fought over is that it is a portal. So I wonder if like a portal opened up and that's what they were seeing. Like maybe they were seeing into a different dimension.
That's really cool.
Isn't that cool? It's so weird. The world is so weird, I swear.
Mm-hmm.
We leave every night according to Dolores Cannon. Oh, Tyler says, oh, do you mean like we go into the astral every night while we are sleeping? That could be another reason why people don't remember their dreams. Maybe you're just busy at work, you're clocking in.
Well, and that's the other thing I think is pretty cool is sometimes you're not supposed to remember them because you're receiving healing or you're time traveling or whatever else. You know, you are in the astral working, and you just consciously can't accept that yet.
Yeah. That was one of the things also that kind of like some of our soul group were having dreams about each other, and like we would remember the same dreams. We would wake up and be like, did you dream that? And it's like, yes, I did. The 4D said, I do have a few crazy stories. I was in Bosnia for that war, the Bosnian pyramids. I would love to hear your stories. That's so fascinating. Hey, Alara. Yeah, so I do think that, you know, I do think we're going, I mean, I think you can also simultaneously dream, because I'll have a ton of dreams, but I'm also waking up feeling exhausted, like I was just somewhere. Like I didn't spend any time sleeping. I was working all night.
That's how I've been feeling lately too. And I've even tried to cut down my coffee because I didn't know if it was like somehow making me more tired, but I really wake up feeling like I was out on a mission every night, right?
Yes. Yeah. And I guess if we're not remembering, there's a reason for that, but it's so frustrating. I want to, you know,
told me that I also time travel, but I go into the future.
Oh, well, that's way more fun.
So I go into the future, like trying to figure things out, and then I'll travel back and change the timelines.
Oh, okay. So you're going and seeing what the result is. Yeah, you're like reverse engineering time. That's really interesting.
No wonder why I wake up exhausted. Like,
really. Well, yeah. I mean, that's quite a heavy job. That's so interesting. That's so interesting too, because I mean, aren't we all just fascinated with time travel? It was like every movie we watched in the 80s and 90s had some kind of element of time travel or something like that. And God, that would be fun.
I know. It's amazing. I can't wait till all this stuff is like mainstream.
I know. Someone says Project Looking Glass. Well, it sounds like she's actually traveling into the future.
Yeah.
Kate says it a way to purge stuff you're going through and not to remember your dreams. Last night I asked for a dream for direction. I dreamed I knocked over dominoes, loads of dominoes in Domino Rally, then a whole massive stack of them. Dominoes seem to be one of those things that you could probably look up in a dream book and it would have like a meaning.
Yeah, for sure.
Blake says DMT definitely proves your consciousness can survive outside the body and experience dimensions outside of the current. Have you ever done DMT or like mushrooms or anything like that, Anita? No. Anyway, I have. I've never done DMT, but I want to try it.
I've done mushrooms back.
Yeah, so have I. And but I was
heyday.
Yeah, me too. High school. And I'm a control freak, so I did not take enough to like make me trip balls, dude. But I was like giggling, and I was kind of seeing some things. But that was the reason that it's like the only drug I ever really liked, because everything freaks me out. Weed makes me very paranoid. Everything makes me paranoid. Life makes me paranoid. Let's just face it. And mushrooms was like you could take a little bit, see how you felt. It wasn't like you were just taking a whole ass pill and then it was going to do whatever it did. But now I feel like maybe my time has passed as far as doing DMT or like ayahuasca or something like that. But the theme of ayahuasca keeps coming up in my life. And so.
Same. Maybe we need to go down to Peru together and do a whole ayahuasca journey.
I'll do it. Dude, I've got a friend, actually a mutual friend of ours.
Okay.
Has a friend in California who does it.
Oh,
and
really?
So we can talk to her about it and possibly do it there. Yeah, like it's a very controlled, clinical, like setting. They're on top of it. This is just what they do. This is it. So, you know, I would feel safe in somebody's hands like that. I mean, it's not that I wouldn't feel safe in Peru. I just being so far from home and like where my insurance card works.
No, but don't they like dig a hole in the ground and like cover you up and come get you like 8 hours later or something?
Negative. Nope, I am not doing that. There's no way.
No,
There's actually, did you ever watch the show Portlandia?
no.
Oh God, I don't even know why I like that show, but there are a couple things. I don't love it. It's kind of weird for me, but there have been a couple really funny skits that they do, and one of them, it's like a husband and wife, and they're gonna like go be the responsible drug doers. So they
Okay.
like get the babysitter, and then it's just like they go through all of these steps. Like it's just like they go overboard to create all of these steps to make sure everything is super safe, so that they can go
Right.
and do drugs together.
That's so funny.
This one just caught my eye. Whatever you do, don't lose hope. Hope is the anchor of the soul, the stimulus to action, and the incentive to achievement. If you lose hope, you're not looking far enough ahead. P.S. Buy a shroom kit.
That's so
What
funny.
is a shroom kit? And I have friends that microdose mushrooms. What does that do? If you smoke weed before you go to sleep, you won't dream nearly as much. I have noticed that before. I don't know why, but weed does not work with my body, but CBD does. CBD has been,
I started taking CBD recently.
yeah. And you like it?
I like it a lot. I've kind of, my husband was sober for 9, 10 years. So I didn't drink. I really didn't do anything. And I was kind of afraid to even take CBD. And I was, birthing multiple children. So I'm finally like free and clear to have control over my own body. So yeah, recently I did. I tried CBD and I love it.
You were pregnant for
Ever.
a very big percentage of your life you spent pregnant. That's very crazy to think about.
And breastfeeding.
And breastfeeding, where your body is not your own
No.
for like a very long time.
Yeah.
And you kind of went like through the cycle. That's a lot,
I did extended breastfeeding with the last two. I cannot tell you how happy I am to have my body to myself.
Yes.
Not that I have my pre-pregnancy body back, but I'm happy to have my body to myself.
Yes.
It's amazing.
Do you feel like that experience had any kind of effect on your awakening? Like, do you think that when you look back on it now, certain skills or certain kind of tolerance or something like that you benefited from just the process of motherhood?
Mm-hmm.
To me, I feel like it's such a catalyst.
Yeah. It's funny. I'm definitely a lot more patient. I have the ability to kind of like tune things out now, which I never had. Like every little thing used to irritate me. And, I just notice like there's stuff going on. I have four kids. The oldest one's almost 7. So my house is complete chaos at all times. And I'm kind of like in the eye of a hurricane, and I'll look and like there's chaos going on everywhere. And I'm just like kind of tuning it out, and I'm very calm. And that was never me before. I was never that person. I was always like very high strung and irritated. And, my husband will come home from work and within 5 minutes, he's like, I don't know how you do this. And I'm like, I don't even hear them. Like, I don't even hear any of this.
Yes.
It's amazing.
It's survival.
Yeah.
It is. It's survival. And there isn't a lot, man. I've been watching Outlander. Do you know anything about the Outlander series?
I watch cartoons and like
so yeah, I don't
stuff. I
have
watch
been
anything normal.
Yeah. I watched Outlander a while ago, and I just started watching it again because I read the books. And why on earth did I bring this up? Oh, I know I brought it up because you'd actually really like it if you ever got time to watch it. It's about this woman who she lives in. It's just after World War II, and she goes on a kind of like a vacation or kind of like a second honeymoon with her husband to rekindle after wartime, because they were both separated during the war. So they go to Scotland, and they go to these like a Stonehenge kind of thing, circle, whatever. And she gets transported 200 years in the past to the 1700s Scotland. And then she like goes there and she falls in love. So it's kind of about time travel. But I think the reason I brought it up is that I actually like watching time period pieces, because to see like how people lived, and it gives you such an appreciation, right? Because like everything, the fact on top of everything that they are wearing these ornate outfits that probably take about 45 minutes to put on, right?
Yeah.
I can't even be bothered to get out of my pajama pants when I drive my child to school, right? Like all I have to do is get in a car. These people like put us to shame with everything they endured, and the way life used to be. And so I do feel like parenthood is one of the only things left in life where it's like, no, it's going to suck and you're going to get through it, and it's going to build character, and it's going to be the best thing you ever did, but you don't have a choice. This isn't like, oh, stick to itivism and you got to like, no, like you don't have a choice. And so we live in a world where everything is just so easy. It's like too easy.
Yeah.
But there's no like making parenthood. I mean, it is a lot easier in a lot of ways, well, obviously. I mean, even parenthood is easier, but it's still really hard.
Yeah. I'm actually taking a conscious parenting course.
What's that like?
I'm only on day one, but there's a lot of talk about attuning yourself to your child. You know, even though I feel like I'm a pretty awakened parent, you know, I always I could, there's always room for improvement no matter what, you know what I'm saying? So and knowing that I have starseed children, you know, maybe there's tools, tips, tricks, other things I could be doing, other things that could, you know, maybe more so even for my husband, because he has a really hard time. You know, he feels like the kids don't listen to him. So maybe there's things I could learn that. And what I want to eventually do, what I was telling you, is I want to start putting out content regarding these courses. They're actually called quests. So I signed up for all these different quests that I'm taking, and I'd like to make content, you know, take out the best pieces. And not everybody has time and money to be doing things like this, but I'm very fortunate to have time.
Right.
Now, so
yeah. But not only are you like learning all this stuff and being such a sponge for it, but you're so smart and you're such like a solid, calming person. And your intuition is fucking mind-blowing. Like it really is. Like I've never met anybody that wasn't just like hardcore psychic that's able to do what you do. Like your intuition.
It's so funny because I don't feel like I am psychic, but you can send me a text that's a completely neutral text, right? And I get an entire picture of your last 3 days.
I'm so sorry.
No, it's fine. But I get a full picture of what's going on in your life, in your house, in your head, how your body's feeling by this like neutral text. Yeah. I have this with other people too. It's pretty crazy. But it's only people that I'm really like very connected with. It's not complete strangers. So I'm trying to develop this more and be able to use it in my sessions to have this intuition for clients.
Right. Well, it seems like you are definitely, that would be the step one of awakening, whatever this is that's awakening in you.
Right.
And there's no doubt in my mind that you're going to find a way to put this to good use.
Yeah.
And so I'm really happy to see you taking these steps to not only do these be like offering these kinds of therapies and all of the cool stuff that you and I have talked about behind the scenes, all of these awesome ideas that you have. Like basically Anita has big things coming and I'm really excited about it. Yes.
I hope we can collaboratively do a lot of this stuff. That would be amazing.
F yeah. But like you've got the gifts. You really do. I will put you on my back and I will run you.
I need your brain though. Your brain is amazing. I need your brain. I need your intellect and your wit and charm.
You got it, baby.
And together we are unstoppable.
Yes, we will put our rings together and together we are Captain America.
Unite.
That's the wonderful thing about this. We are gonna all help each other, and everybody's gonna start awakening into what it is that they should be doing, activating, and we all just need to be helping each other do whatever that is. And so I think also one thing that you really need to do, because you have such a great perspective and you put things in a way that is it's really easy to get, you're really easy to relate to, is doing like what I do kind of with on the YouTube on the YouTube.
On the YouTube.
So is that's going to be coming for you eventually,
Yeah,
right?
sure.
We're going to do
Yeah.
that. Okay, good. Because you'd be so good at that. And especially interviewing other people and stuff too. Like you said, you've been making so many friends in this community. And so you'll have access to a lot of people too.
I know. It's been just in the literally since I changed dramatically. And it's really been because of you, like since our meeting.
Well, and but vice versa. So that's just the way that it happens. So it's really cool. And it does seem to be happening kind of more rapidly, maybe because we're getting closer to whatever it is that's coming. So
that might be.
I'm excited for it. Well, thank you so much for doing this tonight. I am so happy. Do you have any place that people can find you right now?
I'm on Facebook, but I wouldn't really. If anybody has questions about sessions, if anybody's interested in having a BQH session, I will have a website in the very near future. But for right now, you could email me at Anita Rose QH. So it's AnitaRoseQH@gmail.com. I had to think about that because I literally just made it today. And then I was like, wait, what did I do? Also, we're going to be at Starseeds Adventures Cocoa Beach Conference together, which is really exciting.
That is right. I'm really excited about that. That'll be March.
March 12th to the 15th, right? And I just want to give people a little bit of information about that. So included in the base ticket, there is a semi-formal sit-down dinner and dance with music. So you'll see me busting some moves on the dance floor. That's exciting.
You'll see me busting my ass.
And 2 adult beverages are included in that if you want to loosen up a little bit. But also a lot of the speakers and healers that are going to be there, I don't even want to call it a conference. It's really like a spiritual retreat. It's going to be a life-changing event. The healing, the activations, the ignitions that you're going to be getting from this weekend, like you can't put a price on it. It's going to be life-changing. So if anybody is kind of in a weird place in their life, they're stuck, they need that push to kind of propel them forward with their spiritual awakening or their life in general, I would highly suggest hopping on there. If anybody could link that up.
Yeah. Tessa, thank you so much for putting that in there. And the cool thing about it is it's going to be so intimate that it's like you said, it's not like a conference at all. It really is. I mean, you and I have even talked about how like what I'm going to do as my presentation and what I'm going to talk about, and get super raw with a couple things because that will afford me kind of, I feel more comfortable than because who knows who's on the other side of my YouTube channel, like watching me or whatever. But I feel like in that setting I can get a little bit more like raw and comfortable and kind of talk about like maybe like some of this crazy stuff. Some of the crazy stuff. So I'm really looking forward to that. Plus, isn't it going to be so nice to just be in person and be in warm weather? And
yes,
we all need it.
I'm in New Jersey. We have like literally 3 feet of snow outside. So I cannot wait to get down there and just feel the sunshine and give you a hug.
I know.
It's going to be amazing.
It's going to be so nice. So if you guys haven't gotten tickets for, I think there are something like, I don't even know, 15 tickets left or something like that. So
get on it. Hop on there, get your ticket.
Thank you for doing
that. The value of it is amazing. You're getting a lot for that. So
I think that is going to be the future. I hope that's the future of conferences, because compared to like the huge conferences with like thousands of people and like multiple stages and all of that, this is like you can actually connect with people, and you're actually more likely to find your soul family, I think, in a smaller group of people than in a bigger group of people.
Yeah. And it's funny. I know we're kind of over time, but
that's okay.
I was on the Zoom meeting last week, and we were talking about having maybe a singles night how to meet your star seed soulmate. So there might be like a singles game. So
That's
I think
awesome.
that would be cute, you know, if anybody's looking for love out there.
That would be really cute. Love
Right?
connections made through star seeds. I love it. We have to come up with a good name for the
Yeah.
website
Yeah.
where we will make love connections. All right,
That was
awesome.
fun.
Well, thank you again so much for doing this with
Thank you
me.
so much for having me. Seriously,
And when
appreciate it.
Anita gets her website, all of that stuff together, I will obviously keep all of you guys updated and on all of that. But for right now, you can email her at anitaroseqh@gmail.com.
Mhm.
And all right, well, I love you and I love all of you as
I
well.
love
And I
you.
will see you later.
Oh wait, empty your
Oh,
whatever
I
that your
love
chest.
you.
I love
See?
you too.
All right, I'm emptying the chest,
There you go.
the treasure chest.
You had treasure chest.
I hope you all get very, very wealthy. I have no idea what this is. I need to spend more time like on DLive and figure out what the heck lemon is, what is ice cream.
What is all that? That's crazy.
I have no idea. But it doesn't, my thing looks different. I wonder if I got demonetized.
Oh no, don't even say that.
I mean, it doesn't, I don't even know how to access anything anyway. I don't even think I'm really signed up for. Okay, awesome. It looks like the chest was
Emptied.
emptied.
Whatever that may mean.
It was an ample chest. All right, you guys. Love you big time.
Love you all. Good night.
See you next time.